Hey everyone, my name is Daria Russell, and I did my food project on Greece, which was super fun and super exciting. I was really worried about, going to a restaurant and not knowing how that experience will be. I did a lot of research on whether it was family owned, if the food was actually Greek and Mediterranean, and just all of the in betweens because there's a lot of restaurants. Sorry, my phone froze. There's a lot of restaurants that, claim to be Greek food, but it's a lot of like either Greek fast food or, anything of that sort. So I did a lot of research on the restaurants, and it was a really fun time. Although I did take a video, I will insert that somewhere in here so that way you guys can see everything that I ate. The restaurant that we went to was Meraki, and that is located more Southwest Vegas or Southeast. I don't really remember. I'm pretty new here. So, but towards like IKEA. And it's such a fun restaurant. It is family owned, and I feel like I learned more about Greek culture just going in. So going in, they did not know that I was doing a school project, but we tried to go for like the full Greek experience, and we went a few weeks ago, so it was still pretty warm outside. And one thing about Greek culture is they're very big on spending, time eating together, but also enjoying like the outdoors. And so we decided to eat dinner outside, and I love eating outside, so it was perfect. And we ended up ordering. It was kind of interesting because you still walk up, you order, and then they will serve you. But one thing that I found out is similarly to how it is in Greek culture, it was only women servers, and the men were the ones who were back there, kind of directing things. There were women who were helping cook. But the men were basically the ones that were like directing and cooking and just making sure that everything is in order. And the women were the ones who were in charge of the hospitality. And so when we were talking with our server, she gave us a lot of fun and interesting facts about Greek culture that I'm excited to share with you guys. So to begin, we ended up I ordered the meze plate. I've had Greek food before. I went to a Greek festival, which was really huge in Washington State. And basically, like the Greek festival back home was a whole bunch of tents and different places that you could go and try different things that Greeks have made at home or different foods. And so I've had a gyro and, typical things. So when I went to Meraki, I really wanted to try something that was a little bit outside of what I've known and outside of my comfort zone. So I got the meze plate, and it was good. It was really good. It was definitely different. And forgive me because I'm probably going to mispronounce a lot of the names that were included in my meal. So I did try and Google it and get it right, but unfortunately, my brain just can't seem to get the words out correctly. So 3 of the things that stood out to me on my meze plate, it came with hummus and pita bread, and also a Greek salad, which is like my go-to. I love Greek salad, but it also came with spanakopita. Forgive me, I know that's wrong, which is basically a Spanish pie with feta and spinach filling, and it was really good. Granted, I was kind of picking around at my plate, and so I didn't focus too much on one thing, but that in itself was very delicious. In Greek culture, the way that they do their bread, they do a variety different ways of making bread, but one of the ones that they're known for is stretching their bread out very thin. I saw this in my dessert and in the Spanish pie that I had, or spinach pie, I'm sorry. And then I also had domodakia. And that was, so it's basically Greek grape leaves, and it is, that's the wrapping, and then inside is what they stuff all of the vegetables. And so mine had pepper, onion, zucchini, and eggplant, and it was really, really good. Really delicious. It wasn't my favorite just because I'm really weird on texture, but the flavor of it was really good. And that's one thing that I've noticed about Greek food is that they use a lot of herb, and that's a lot what I read about, and they use a lot of herbs in their food, and I am an herbal person. I love all the different seasonings and different flavors, and so it was really good. And I also had falafel. And that is deep fried patties that are made out of chickpeas or fava beans. In Greek culture, like I said, they use a lot of like wheat, vegetables, olive oil, what else? Beans, like they're very big on that stuff, and all of it is like right up my alley, and it leads to a delicious meal. But I was really interested to see how they could make so many different things out of vegetables. And so that was exciting for me. I did a lot of research, and, I don't know if you've heard about it, but the Mediterranean diet is really big. And why it's so big is because they use, all of those vegetables and more, I guess, organic food. I wouldn't say organic, but, plant food instead of meat. Like they lean more towards vegetables and things of that sort instead of meat and all of that. So that is just very common for them. And I love olives. I love olive oil. I loved everything. And while we were there, they actually use a olive oil that is imported from Greek, and they also had Greek wine. So I would say that out of everything that I had, the Greek wine was my favorite. And she was telling me a little bit about the traditions. And when we were going to Cheers, she thought it was funny because she said that Americans often, they commonly cheers. And she was saying that back home, they drop the cup and then they bring it around their head. And it's a tradition that they have. She said it's more of like blessing the drink, blessing the fact that you're with family and friends. And within Greek culture, they're all about family. They're all about traditions. And so that was really big. She also said that the drinking age is a lot more younger there. And so you drink, and it's not necessarily to get drunk, but to just enjoy the moment and to have fun. It's very much so a social thing. It's not weird to be drinking with your grandparents when you are 15 years old or however old she said she was. And so she was saying it's funny because we live in Sin City, Las Vegas, going out partying, and back home it's very different because it's definitely a social, more casual thing. Although within my reading, Greeks do love to drink. Wine is very huge, but there is a culture difference with the drinking there. And she was so sweet. She brought us baklava, which is, like I said, it's the stretched flour with a little bit of oil, and it's in like thin layers, and then it is topped with nuts, and it's soaked in honey to hold it together. I am not a huge honey person. The flavor was really good. I love nuts, but it was a little overpowering on the honey for me. But it was good because I liked the way that it broke apart and just, the difference in flavor. So that was delicious. And overall, I would say that it was a really fun experience. I got to learn a lot about Greek culture, and although I did a lot of reading and research on the side, I felt like I learned a lot at the restaurant. So it was fun. It was a really good experience. I do love Greeks and Greek culture. I would love to go and learn more if I possibly could, just because I feel like there's something unique to every culture. And so it was fun to be at a family-owned restaurant and, see a little bit more insight on that. So it was really good. It was really fun. And I will also cut the video because I'm going to link in when we were at the restaurant and show you guys what we ate and a little bit of what was on our plate and what we had to drink. So thank you.